Okay, so metal.
Metal.
This show's about metal.
What is metal? We're going to spread the hidden value in music.
We're going to proselytize. We're going to get the word out there.
We are.
That's important.
Ba-dum. Oh, hello. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the Great Metal Podcast, episode 31. Now, guys, something really, really special happened. I got a phone call from a band you guys probably know. They may or may not be called Metallica. And you know, they were having some issues with one of their bandmates, and they called me up and said, "Hey, Luke, you're the metal evangelist. Yeah, we'd like you to come,
plate, bro.
Yeah, we'd like you to come do something for us." And so, basically, we started a documentary on it.
Audition video coming up, right?
That's right. So check out what happened this week, guys.
In a world dominated by calf strength, metal evangelist Luke trains for the day he might be called on.
I'm even wearing my shirt. Oh,
coming for you, Lars. He's coming for you.
That one's voted out by the band, actually.
No problem is, it's real similar to the other one.
It's too similar.
Boards of metal.
It's got guitar and drums, and then bass. And
Luke, with your power
Like
calves.
he's up.
Okay. So apparently Lars can't tell the difference between the Metallica songs, and so
it all comes down to calves. And Luke, you got the calves, bro. So you're
that's right.
I hope you're right. You have the catalog down. You know all the songs. It's a lot of songs to learn.
I know the Unforgiven and the Unforgiven 2. Those ones I enjoy.
That's all you need. Just repeat those for every show.
Yeah.
Well, as we know, they're all similar.
They are all similar. Yes. Yep. And they all have guitar and bass. It's just a great deal. So anyway, so as if maybe you couldn't tell, but today we are going to start talking about some of the best metal drummers. We've talked about guitarists, we've talked about vocalists, bass players. We figured we'd throw the drummers a bone here.
It's time for some thunder, some power hitting.
That's right. So,
and the other powerful thing this week, as I just got to share because I found this. Look, Peter's brand.
Right. I've got one too.
I found this beer and I was like, "That's me." It turns out. I mean,
the official beer of big calved drummers, right there.
Yes,
that's right.
You want to grow your calves, you got to drink that.
Boom. So, Raymond Herrera, if you're listening, go buy yourself some Peter's brand.
Raymond Herrera is from Fear Factory, if you don't know, and he is a hell of a drummer. In fact, he gets accused of not, it's not real a lot of times, right? It's like digitally manipulated. So,
well, that was I don't remember what year that was. Shred 2005 or 6 maybe. We went down to that Fear Factory concert in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I think on the way down we had this conversation. I was like, "There's no way. It's a drum machine. They're going to be playing to a drum track." And then it was a tiny little club called the Orbit Room, and sure enough, there's freaking Herrera just blasting that mother freaking bass. Oh, yeah, double bass.
He might have been using drum triggers, which is not cheating. That's like an electronic device, that you can make your drums sound like anything. It's like a little MIDI input thing. But anyway, that doesn't take. Yeah, right. So it doesn't take anything away from what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's maybe talk briefly about, what makes a good drummer, and then let's get into our picks. The top 10.
Yeah. It is a top 10.
And we should get some drum rolls ready, boys. Damn it.
Oh, we should. We don't even have a drum roll.
We need a symbol that we can crash.
Yeah.
In the corner. Yeah.
Well, and so, there's a lot, just like with the other instruments that we've talked about. There's a lot that goes into, what makes a great, a player of an instrument, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, again, like if you look up these lists on Loudwire and wherever, they heavily favor influence
large
in their
brands.
ranking. Yep. Exactly. So it's like you can be not like, for instance, one list I saw, John Bonham was number one out of 100 of the best drummers out there. Now, John Bonham, God bless him, is not the most technically proficient drummer on the planet.
Can you imagine though if we just listen to drum solos and like assess their value on that? Like it's got to be attached to a good song, right? Otherwise,
absolutely.
Drum solos are one of the most impossible things to listen to behind the bass solo. Like the bass solo is a little less, brutal, but a straight up drum solo. How many times do you hear that at a live show?
Yeah, they all sound similar.
They sound similar, that you don't necessarily have a melody. But what's interesting is, we have a clip of a guy coming up, Gojira's drummer, Mario Duplantier. And he actually,
not Luigi, but
Mario. Yes, not Luigi.
Well, no, he's his brother, right? His brother,
that's right.
Luigi.
That's right.
His famous plumber.
His brother plays in the band.
Very well known.
This is the guitarist of Gojira.
Yeah.
For those listening to the podcast, it's a picture of Luigi from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So apparently he's a guitar player. So anyway, and he does this. He finds a way to make it very, very, I don't know what the term for it would be, but it's like, obviously it's not melody or harmony, but it's like, it is very pleasant to listen to just all on its own. But I think, what we've learned is that I used to think a prerequisite of being a drummer was that you had to have arms and legs. Now, what we learned is that you actually don't. Def Leppard's drummer in the 80s. Yeah, gets into, I think it was a limousine accident. Is that what it was?
I
think it was a limousine accident.
I heard he was trying to
hanging his arm out the car and it rolled, something like that.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
he may have saved somebody from a house fire or something, but I don't think that's
I've heard
where
that story before. Yeah, he saved a small child from a house fire.
He probably did that when he was down an arm already.
He might have done it, but after
one-armed feet, that could have been one-armed feet. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, apparently you don't even need arms and legs to be a great drummer. Although I think it helps.
Some
big calves do help.
Yeah. Big calves do help. That is true. So
we're not talking about cows. I do enjoy some veal, but this is something else.
Something else.
Confused here.
Yeah.
I thought again this was a bovine episode earlier.
Yeah, just Pete is we always got to spell it out. It out. So what are some of the things? So, for me, I kind of put together my list of like when a drummer blows me out of the water, it's like, what are they doing that makes them stand out amongst, other drummers? And so here was my list, the ability to, change tempos and time signatures. Here's the analogy. Here's the analogy, right? I liken it to grammar, right? I'm a literary guy. So grammar the English, all languages have structure to them, right? You have nouns and verbs. And so the drums and songwriting is like a form of, it's almost a language. Yes.
Yeah.
And so what the drums do for me is they provide the structure for a song, and it's like the punctuation in a sentence, right? So
When you record in the studio, you start with drums. It's called basic tracks. That's like you said, that's the structure. You got to have that down. Otherwise, nothing else really makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
or does nothing else matter?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Sorry.
So right, because it gives you time, it gives you a beat, it gives you some level of energy, right? I mean, if you're playing soft with some brushes, okay, I'm on my guitar, I'm gonna match that level of that decibel level. If you're just pounding away, okay, I'm gonna strum harder, I'm gonna match that decibel level. So the drums really provide context and structure for a song. Now that is so important. I don't know if anybody's ever listened to like their favorite metal song without drums.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's so weird. And just one of my favorite things in the world is when, a song gets going and then Sonata Arctica is the best at this. And then all of a sudden, like thunderous double bass comes in. Oh, it's just like, it gives you it's like getting shocked by, those electrical paddles. It's so good in a good way.
The tonality you talked about a little bit there when you referenced like brushes and stuff. And I don't think that's something you often think about of the drums bringing a certain tone quality, but there can be a dramatic. I mean, we were talking earlier about Fear Factory and, Shred, I think you were referencing like using drum triggers, right? So it's like you're doing the hits, but you're bringing a little different crispness
tone is important no matter what instrument you play. How it sounds, especially in the context of a mix. Like when I mix music, getting that bass drum to come out and not share too much space with the bass guitar. Like that's real science, so you can hear that because you want to hear that pounding. Oh yeah.
And then everybody
pound on Valentine's
Day. And then after you put all that work in, people listen to it on their iPhone speaker.
Yeah.
I literally mix for the iPhone now because that's the way people consume. So might as well.
Yeah.
Just forget about like 20 hertz. Nobody's hearing that.
No, it's true. But I mean, to that point, like the snare, I mean, every drummer has like a slightly different snare drum sound, right?
Snare is huge. Yeah.
It's huge. And even
crack, that just really cuts through a higher frequency, or you can go or for, the mid range, a little bit muddier, a little more classic rock, it's up to you.
It's up to you, but
with the jazz, I could brush your ass, Luke. With
you could, but oh my gosh! Well, so
later tonight, though. Pete,
that's right.
What? I'll double team you guys. Why not?
Wow,
you're only like 120 miles away right now, so we can make that happen.
That's right.
Unfortunately, we got enough time to lock the door here.
Yeah. So, viewer Matthew Corns just weighed in here. His favorite drummers have really good tone across the kit, like when they use the toms and snare in creative ways. It's so true because and some of the best drummers will actually they experiment different songs. Like for instance, I'm thinking back to between the album Awake and Falling into Infinity, Mike Portnoy changed up. His kit is called the Monster, and I think at its peak it was up to 100 pieces. I was somewhere around like 60 or 50 or 60 during Awake.
I mean, you can see this was a picture of his kit. He's blocking some of it.
Oh yeah, and it continues to go around.
It's unreal.
Yeah, and so
separate kits within a kit. At one point, you have two separate stools, and for some songs he's over here on this stool, and for other songs, he's on the other stool.
Yeah, and so the sound between Awake and Falling into Infinity really changed, and like that was part of the reason why I didn't like it as much at first. Now I came around, and Falling to Infinity's an immaculate album.
But Portnoy himself doesn't like the tone, right? Wasn't it the snare he didn't like on that one?
That was Images and Words, which was actually a trigger issue. He didn't like the trigger sounds.
Yeah.
So.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, and so absolutely. I mean, the tone of each one and you know, different tones, like you said, Shred, are gonna lend themselves to different genres. You know, classic rock, you don't necessarily need the sharpest snare. In metal, I think you need that sharp snare. Otherwise it gets drowned out by all the distortion.
You got so much heavy going on, that crisp cut through is really essential.
Yeah. Heavy. So you know, just blasting through my list really quickly. So the other things that make an exceptional drummer to me, you know, mastery of dynamics, which is kind of what we've been talking about, you know, being able to play hard and soft. You know, here's an example of someone who did not or has not yet figured out dynamics. I mean, just a nice little
solo. Very nice low key pad.
Listen to him go.
I like the camera guy's like zooming out. He's like, what is going on over here?
I mean,
he has like a Neil Peart fan, and he's just in the wrong. Like, bro, this is worship music. You're in the wrong spot. Like, you gotta get a prog sideband going.
My favorite part of that is like it's just like drowning out the vocal, and finally the camera guy's like, all right, I gotta give him some context for this. So he like zooms out so you can see the guy just banging away.
Yeah, she's just sitting there, you know, singing, pushing some keys on her keyboard, and he is just going to town on that drum kit. So I mean, it's a lack of dynamics, right?
He was probably practicing for his metal show that night.
Well, that could be. It very well may have been intentional. But that's like where the drums are certainly not serving the music, or the exact opposite. The song should have been played on the keyboards much more aggressively because they weren't matching the structure of the drums.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Like the musicality. Yeah. It's got to be relevant to the song. Got to be right for the song.
It's got to fit in. Yeah. So dynamics to me is huge. You know, which goes into like, you know, articulation of playing, creating unique and interesting fills. That's a big one. I think that a lackluster or middle of the road drummer does not focus on creating interesting fills, and creating an interesting fill is actually really difficult, very difficult. So fills are a big one, because they also create that transition between, you know, one segment and the next. And then being able to play fast and slow. I mean, this is great. I mean, I listen to a lot of doom metal and funeral.
Give us some 20 BPMs drumming. Can you do that?
Oh gosh, 20 BPM would be like, it'd be like
everything's just like slow, but
it's so slow. And I think that drummers, when you get slower than, I don't know what it would be, like maybe 60 or 70,
66.6. Yeah.
Oh, that actually probably is the number, 66.6. There's so much space in between the note, like it's hard to keep track, right?
You gotta like tap your foot at like 30-second beats,
right? So so drummers got to figure out, how do I keep track of all that empty space? And so that's a sign of a real skilled drummer, when they can play and keep the beat, keep time, and slow
atomic
BPM.
Clock, right? Who was the Atomic Clock?
Oh, Gene Hoglan. Yeah, Gene Hoglan. He played for Strapping Young Lad. He played with Fear Factory some, Death Clock. And then I think, he filled in for a bunch of bigger bands too.
All right. Well, let's get into the top 10 guys. Huh?
Let's get into the 10 spot here, because we got.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for, right? Now, a lot of these guys came from lists. They're not necessarily my top 10, but you know, whatever. We'll get to that in another segment. Okay, so here we go. with number 10 is Bill Ward of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, he loves what he's doing.
You got to keep in mind too, this is way back in the day, 1970 something.
Yeah,
he's making a lot of sound come out of that kit, and he's got like he's just really hitting hard. I love the sound when you're like really digging into it. It's like a different timbre, tone quality. But that's a bunch of BS.
Only get that on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so I mean, here you have basically the first heavy metal band, right? And this guy, he knows how to match the drum style to the music.
Yeah, and it's right. The other thing I really like about Bill Ward is he's able to like have just a straight ahead groove, but do syncopated, interesting things without making you feel like you're getting off time. It still feels natural. It's really hard to make syncopation feel natural.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This always feels natural, but syncopation, it's not as easy.
No, it's so true. So yeah, I mean, Bill Ward, certainly props for starting this movement, right? For giving some roadmap for future metal drummers.
I forgot to mention, I actually took a shot at this little drum solo myself. I've been working on my drum skills. I don't know if you have that clip, Luke, but
I do.
I don't know. You guys tell me, should I switch to drums?
Yeah, let's check her out.
In the fields of bodies burning. The war machine keeps
nice drumstick there.
Yeah, don't drop
hatred to mankind.
Yeah.
In their brainwashed minds.
Oh, that's good. So a ukulele and a knife.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Should I change the drums?
It's innovative. It's innovative.
You're innovating. Yeah, you are that's the next step. So Bill Ward started us down the metal drumming scene, and then Shredmaster is going to take us to the next level, the evolution of drums. Everybody get a ukulele and a knife.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
a compass. That would have made more sense because the drums are like the true north compass.
You could have been wearing a big compass around your neck.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Could have hanged myself.
Follow me.
Compass.
Yeah.
Let's see. So who's next? Number 9.
All right. So this is here we go. This is the guy that I'm going to be replacing in Metallica.
Dude,
Lars Ulrich. Now I will tell you, Lars. I tell you what. 1999. Napster, the whole Napster debacle is going on. And 2000, Lars was like the face of the music industry, of the artists, and like against Napster and stuff. Yeah. Always left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, this dude is he's just thinking backwards, right? But that being said, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of like great things to say about Lars's playing either. I'm just not a huge fan of the guy's style. I don't think he does anything innovative or interesting. I'm not sure I would put him in the virtuosic category.
Yeah, all the songs sound similar.
That's right. That's right. So
let's check out the clips, and you guys let us know in the comments. Is Lars greatest of all time or not?
Does he deserve to be at number 9? So here he is playing For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's a good, straightforward beat there.
Wow, listen to the bass note too. Not taking anything away from that. Now the end of this song has some out of time or some odd time stuff, Luke, that you probably really like. And it's actually really hard to play along to. It's like what you call rubato, which is like a push and pull the rhythm. So you couldn't play it to a metronome.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyway,
you know,
like for me, Lars is, he's a musical guy. He understands musical structure, and he does what's right for the song. He doesn't do it in a flashy way, but it really communicates something powerful. But
yeah, I tried to find him like really going to town. Here's sometimes I'm not sure Lars knows who he is, but he remembered one day, and so here's what he said about himself.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not Robert Trujillo. That was last week.
Last week I was
Sorry,
Robert.
Lars.
Yeah. So here he is, spreading it up.
And his posture is so terrible. He's like collapsed over himself.
Yeah.
Stand up straight.
See, I feel like he's just like, he's all over the place, right?
What is he doing for his kick? No, does he have two,
double bass.
He does have two different kick drums. Well, I mean, this is why we don't like drum solos. It's really hard to make a drum solo entertaining,
Well, it's just like, I mean, gosh dang it. I mean, I think the guy is
6 hours of Mike Portnoy drum soloing, but maybe not Lars.
Yeah. Well, but Mike Portnoy makes it, like you said, it makes it so musical. He's not just wailing on his drum kit, randomly. That felt random to me. And I like Lars, but I mean, it's just the dude.
Nice guy.
Yeah. And he's funny. Like if you ever watch interviews with him, he's always like cracking jokes. He's a funny guy. But I just like here, I mean, that just seemed random wailing. It sounded like, he would get a little thing going and then he'd like miss it a couple of times. And then, maybe throw something in. It's just all over the place. Right.
Now we should also mention Nick Menza, who is from Megadeth. And he's the one on all the hits. Megadeth had a few different drummers. Maybe, in fact, like all of their band members, it's been kind of a revolving door, except for Dee Mustaine.
Yeah,
right? But Nick Menza, he's more technical than Lars for sure. And
definitely more technical.
In general, is more technical.
Do we want to check out his clip?
Yeah, let's have a look at this clip.
All right.
Holy
Yeah, see that? It feels tighter.
This is such a great groove right here, too. Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Satisfying and fresh.
So, I mean, he's tight. He is like, he's like on it. He's hitting every little transition so well. And I mean, he's doing it like effortlessly, right? I mean, he's just got this in his bones.
Yeah. Normally, we were talking about this. He keeps his drums up high. I don't know why they were down low there. And there's even some electronic drums in there, I think. But it looks cool when you have the drums like up here and you're just going for it. I love
Good
that.
for posture too. Like
it's better for your posture, Pete. Yeah.
Dude,
also,
it will.
Nick died on stage, which is crazy.
It's the most metal way to go.
That's the first thought I had. And I watched the clip. You can actually watch a short clip of him having a heart attack on stage.
That's brutal.
And it's very metal, but also brutal. 51. Died at age 51.
Shoot.
I actually didn't know that until just before the show when Shred told me. And so, yeah, he's like on stage playing and has a heart attack. I tell you, though, honestly, when you got to go quick. And if you're doing what you love when you go, that is like, goodness gracious. That's the best of the best right there. So,
yeah,
drinking a Peters brand.
Yeah, if we die right now, no regrets. No regrets.
Right. And it'll be straight.
We can at least get to
watch
tonight,
it live.
boys.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm hoping we don't.
Yeah.
Hold on until after tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so number eight spot.
Corpse
Okay.
grinder.
Now you want
that style. If we die here.
Yeah, if we die. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Remember in our first, never mind.
All
So
right, moving on.
yeah, go back and listen to our first couple of episodes. It got pretty wild there. So you want to talk about the technical side of playing. This next guy might be the most technical. Well, I'm not going to say the most technical, but he is way up there, and he apparently doesn't know any music theory or something. Somebody was saying, and so he just I don't know.
Show the clip first, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, do we want to give his name, or should everybody guess?
Well,
starts with a T.
Thomas. I'm going to say hockey
Okay.
or whatever. Anyway, is the drummer from
Such a cool
Meshuggah.
name.
Hake, yeah.
Really enjoying.
Yeah, Hake. Yeah, he says like he can't drink before the show. He can't do anything like that. Takes his concentration off. He's got to be hyper focused to play a show. And the basis of his style is polyrhythmic. So he's oftentimes doing like a 4/4 groove on the cymbals, but then accenting with the kick drum the syncopated guitar riffs, which are in crazy time signatures. So it's actually like it's really like disorienting if you try to listen to both the drums and the guitars at the same time. In fact, it might be impossible to really pay attention to both at the same time. There's been a lot of like studies done on this, but anyway, that's like the basis of his style. It's just really polyrhythmic, complex thing, but it sounds great.
Yeah. No, it like he is doing stuff. I mean, you want to talk about dynamics and, you know, separate control of hands and feet and all of these different aspects of mastering your instrument. This guy's got them. And so the one thing he could do that would take it to the next level is sing. I don't think he sings.
That'd be nuts.
But if he
over that stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Write him a letter. You're like, Thomas, love your playing, but
can you do a little more?
Yeah. What if you could step it up a little bit? Like, I'm getting bored with what you're doing. So add some.
I love what you're doing with both of your feet and both of your hands, but what about your vocal cords?
Yeah, you're missing out on an opportunity here. Oh boy. So yeah, no, he is an incredible drummer, no question about it. Complete mastery of the instrument.
And it should be mentioned, or you got something, Luke?
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, to what you said earlier, like, sometimes it's confusing to listen to. I find I don't listen to Meshuggah for long periods of time because it's very difficult for me to, like, get into it, right?
100%.
So, I don't know. Incredible, though.
His drumming style, though, it's worth noting, has had a lot of influence on modern metal. There's been so many Meshuggah copy bands, just too many to name, but so he really hit something there, like and that's part of being a great band is you're doing something different that people want to emulate, and that's certainly the case with Meshuggah. But nobody does it as good as Meshuggah for sure.
Yeah, there are.
They really started the genre.
Don't even do it half as good as them.
They started and also like I think a lot of the technical metal, math metal. I think a lot of that probably was birthed from Meshuggah. And there's some really interesting stuff that they do. Unfortunately, far too many bands just don't make it musical enough. So it's awesome to like show your friends, like, check out what these guys can do. But you don't find yourself kicking back and listening to it, you know, like Spiral Architect. I want to like Spiral Architect so badly.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like,
well,
it's
that's
just
a really
there.
important point to make in all of this is it's all well and good to be technical, but you have to figure out how to make it musical too. And if you're not able to do that, no one gives a fudge, right? It just doesn't matter.
No,
So-
that's right.
Okay,
is
number 7 spot.
Okay. Now this guy, we are going to make you guess. Yim Sane said he wants to guess, or she. I'm not 100% sure. Yim Sane wants to guess.
And also Shred Till You're Dead, which was very applicable to Menza playing till he died.
He literally
took
was
the
shredding
mantra to
till he died.
to
Yes.
right there. Yeah.
So I'm assuming Yim is a fan of Shred's channel. So good to have you on ours.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Awesome to have you here because we got Shred. So
Question
Okay.
is this guy, I'll give him a hint. Is this guy just a tool?
That's
Okay.
a question.
here we go.
The answer is he's got some high cymbals.
Yeah.
Pretty high up there, yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew Corns guesses it correctly.
Yeah.
This guy, I tell you, he is really good at making odd time signatures flow. He just has a very natural drumming style where he doesn't do anything over the top, right?
Yeah.
So it's all like supportive, but it's good. It's really
that's
good.
really important to mention too, because if you try to write an odd time signature song, what you will find, I don't know if if you're listening and you haven't tried it, try it out. It's very difficult to make it groove, and
Yeah.
he really can make it groove.
Right. You hear it, right? You're like, oh, this is kind of an odd meter here, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's not disruptive, right? A lot of bands they'll get into a 5, particularly 5. I mean, a 5 beats is just not a natural amount of beats, and it's jarring. It's like they get to 5 and then, oh man, back to they didn't transition back to 1 at all. They just stopped and then repeated from 1. So but
I like
no,
6 better, 3 times in a row. Is there? Yeah, that's what we need is a 666 time signature.
3 times in a row.
It'd be
Yeah.
like 666 beats.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Kerry, he's just really, really good at the beat and the transition.
Yeah.
Particularly in these, and it's not even all odd time signatures. Sometimes they're playing in 4, but they do a lot of offbeat stuff.
Where they just
And
take
so-
a little bit out, like it'll be 7/8, so it's close, but not quite. It really helps with the music, I think, because Tool, from like the guitar and the music standpoint, the harmony is similar a lot. Like almost everything's in key of D. It's like all like drop D stuff. And over time, that gets a little bit boring. So having like this rhythmic interest, helps.
Well, yeah, absolutely. To that point, Matthew Korn said, I think he's a very fill-driven drummer with all the space their music creates. I think that's exactly what you just said, Shred. Like
right.
their music does. It's not dense music. It's actually very like open, these wide open riffs. There's a lot of space there. And Danny does a good job of supporting that, carrying it along and keeping it, making sense. Right.
Keeping things from just sounding like a tool. He's not a tool. You might think he's a tool, but no.
no,
he's not a joke with Tool. It just didn't come out right. You got to. So number 6.
Yes. Are we ready? Here we go.
It's like, whoa, nice and Indian on that one.
Oh, it's like chicken between vocalist and drummer. Okay,
I don't know what happened there. So that's like the Faith No More guy, lead singer. What's his name? Mike Patton or something?
Yeah, Patton.
And then Dave Lombardo of Slayer.
Yeah, so here's
a little collab.
Yeah, and he Patton probably joined him for a show. He's probably opening for them maybe at one point or something. And they did this vocal drum battle, which I thought was really interesting because it's actually really hard to do. Particularly for the drummer to match whatever is happening with the vocals, right? And that was obviously an absurd example, but anyway, here's Dave playing some actual Slayer.
Very punk inspired,
Yeah. He's which that is hard. It's very difficult, particularly to play that fast and to be playing the same thing consistently at that speed. Very, very difficult.
Endurance. Imagine doing that for like 2 hours, at a show.
Oh, yeah. No, it's absolutely insane. Now, I will tell you, if you like Dave Lombardo, I can actually one-up you. So here, I'm just saying, if you want stamina and endurance, you got to check out Tommy Portimo. So let's check out this guy. Very simple beat.
He's got the higher signal.
But
he will change. Even a band anymore?
They are. All right, I maybe put that in there too long because the dude, his endurance is it's just unbelievable. The Wolf, it's Tommy Portimo from Sonata Arctica, but their song "Wolf and the Raven," I don't know, it's absurdly fast. I don't know what BPM it is.
Sonata Arctica is like a power metal,
Finnish power metal
from Finland. Yep.
Yeah,
but they've had some lineup changes too over the years. I remember Yanni. I can't say his last name, but the guitar player really enjoyed that guy's playing, but he's not in the band anymore, is he?
No, in fact, the lead singer and the drummer are the only two. And maybe it's not even the lead singer. It might be one of the guitarists and the drummer there's only two original members of the band left. But this guy literally can play, same with Dave Lombardo, only I think maybe Portimo is a little better. He can literally play at, 200 plus beats per minute for like a 7-minute song. just nonstop. I mean, it doesn't even faze the guy. And so, oh gosh, but again, to make that point, it is so difficult to maintain the same thing over and over and over again for a long period of time and not like get off or, slow down unintentionally. Don't get off or slow down.
Cramp.
Or
I don't know. Like, how do you do it without like you're just giving out?
I don't know. Tommy Portimo, he's who I aspire to in the calf game. That's he's my calf hero.
I noticed you were flexing your calves at one point there. You're going for it, getting that calf action going.
Heck yeah, man.
Like
you can't grow them if you don't squeeze them.
Yeah, do some calf raises.
Squeeze it. So number five slot.
So number 5 is oh man.
Stop being a rush now to get to number 5. Let's don't rush into this.
Yeah, don't rush into it. So as you can probably guess, Neil Peart, which I always pronounced Pert.
Yeah, like
which is terrible. I
want to say he died last January or so. It's been almost a year exactly.
It was January of 2019 or 2020. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we were saying. Like it kicked off 2020. We knew 2020 was going to suck because Neil Peart passed. So here's the thing with Peart is an incredibly unique drumming style. He didn't just play to hold a beat. Like the drums were as much a part of the song as the guitar or anything else. Let's take a look at a section on YYZ here, and then we'll talk about it. See, he's not
really can't even talk about progressive music without mentioning Neil Peart because he had such an enormous influence on everyone. And he started drumming basically back, in the year 666. He's been doing it forever. Rush literally started in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I would say too, like, we mentioned way early in the show, like some people make the list because of their influence. I feel like Neil was influenced, but he also stands up on the chops end of it, right? Like he wasn't just he's not just on the list.
Yes,
he was probably the first guy to do that enormous kit too, right? Like, did anybody else have a kit that was close to his size?
Probably not. And particularly because in the metal world, back then, in the early days of metal, it was all about the minimalist style, right? I mean, like black metal, for instance, is not being very adventurous with their drumming.
Yeah,
generally speaking, any of the hardcore styles that took a lot of the speed from punk is all about that, bass snare back and forth. So, but what Peart did was so musical because he's like hitting notes to follow along with an arpeggio on the guitar.
Yeah, I love that.
No drummer ever did that before. I mean, it's just drums were there to like hold the beat. So he really incorporated the drums were just as much a forefront instrument as the guitar and bass and vocals were. And you see the progressive metal took that and ran with it.
Big time. I mean, there would be no Mike Portnoy, right? Without Peart.
No Portnoy, no Mangini.
Peart, Portnoy.
That's right. They both start with P.
Clearly.
Yeah. So okay. We got to move here. We got like 10 minutes left.
Had a comment.
Oh, we got a comment
from the D.
The D. Welcome, the D.
Yes.
We all know the best metal drummer is Chris Fain.
Now, this is a Slipknot drummer.
Oh,
yeah, and he's not on our list, but I mean, there's a lot of people, right?
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw Slipknot on a bunch of these lists, these like best drummer lists. I'm not super familiar with
Tell
Slipknot.
us why you think what makes him the best metal drummer. Give us your comments on that.
Yeah, totally. But in the meantime, we're going to hit one up that it probably had an influence on Slipknot because this guy, more so than his chops, this guy had just a tremendous personality, stage presence.
Great tone, too.
He did have good tone.
He didn't use triggers live, but I don't know about that. And he said... Or wait a minute. No, maybe he did use triggers live, but not in the studio. I think that's what he said. But regardless, I just love the sound of his kick drum, and just like everything just sounds super heavy. Just you feel that thunk. You know, deep down in your soul, in your ass, you just feel it.
Here he is, Vinnie Paul, coming on stage like a boss. Oh yeah, twirling that stick.
Attitude.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh yeah,
There's some cowbell.
This is some like nice touch. Yeah, so I mean, he's just so powerful, aggressive, but then he's also got the gentle touch. Ta 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 ta. You know, when he needs to slow it down, he can slow it down.
When did Vinnie Paul die? Like I want to say it was 2016.
Or was I thought it was 2018. Maybe it was 2016. Okay. It was a couple years ago.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So brothers with Dimebag, Daryl, Pantera, you know, just very important music because again, you know, Pantera has just influenced so many other metal bands. Right. Really had a unique sound. And if you're starting your own band, that's the number one thing. You just have to figure out how to sound different. Like the game isn't emulation. You can incorporate some of your influences, obviously, but you got to figure out how to do your own thing. You know? This is a huge misunderstanding, by the way. Like people think, oh, if I just play like Jimi Hendrix, you know, who played 1,000,000 years ago, then I'll get the same effect. Nope.
Right.
You got to do something different. You got to change the game somehow. It's not that easy.
It's so true. You know, because the truth is there have been, I don't know, 5,000 bands in the last 20 years that sounded just like the Beatles. Well, guess what? If the Beatles existed today, they probably couldn't have made it. But what they did back then was unique. Right. And so you have to be unique for wherever you're at, you know, that 100%. Time period. So
let's see, number three.
Let's all right, let's do it. Okay, so number two. So here's the thing, and this is actually a much larger discussion. You know, we as we're looking through the drum, we're like, man, there are no female drummers, no female metal drummers.
What's the deal,
now what's interesting about this is that about 30 to 40% of metal music is consumed by females.
Is it really that much?
That's the statistic that I got. It was between 30 and 40% of like the fans at metal shows. And I'm assuming some of those females are there because they're there with their boyfriend, maybe. I don't know.
Definitely.
But 30 to 40% of metal consumers are females. And yet there isn't a single female metal drummer out there. I mean, it's crazy. Well, we did find one. So it's this band called Maytal, Meytal.
Like
Her
metal.
name is actually Metal Cohen. And so now she has a metal band. She also primarily does a lot of covers of metal bands on her YouTube channel. But anyway, here's one of her originals, so you can kind of check out what she's got going on.
And I can't see the hunger in the air.
I like the low end presence.
Yeah. This is her band.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I don't know if she writes the music or not. The band is named after her, so I'm assuming she started it.
Yeah.
So
she's got the brand.
she's got the brand, and so I listened to about 3 or 4 of her songs this past week. That's all I know about them.
Bro, we gotta
So-
move. We got 2 more spots and 4
I know.
minutes.
I know.
So-
Anyway, everybody go check out Metal Cohen. Let us know what you think. Okay, number 2. This guy, I am not a huge fan of the band
Brothers with Luigi.
Brothers with Luigi.
Yes.
I'm not the biggest fan of the band, but this guy's ability to create atmosphere with just the drums is impeccable. Let's check it out.
Oh, he's feeling it already.
Oh,
That is different tone for sure.
When he starts bringing in those
It's almost
floor
like
toms.
a bongo.
It's cool though.
I mean-
to bring something like this to metal.
Yeah.
Wow.
This groove is just getting me.
Oh, I'm becoming aroused.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it sounds like exotic and tribal.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
tribal, right? So
Gojira.
this is Mario Duplantier from Gojira.
The only
Um,
French metal band that anybody cares about.
Literally.
Well, again, I have some other ones, but yeah, it's the only one anybody cares about. That's true.
Yeah, we need,
He's
we need some more
actually
French.
brothers with the lead singer.
What's that?
Yeah.
He's actually
Yep.
brothers with the lead singer.
Yep.
Yeah. Joe and Mario.
A family band, as you call it.
Yeah. So anyway, similar to some of these other guys on the list, I mean, his control, I mean, you could hear it there. He's doing some really like the triplets and the sextuplets and all this kind of stuff. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
really,
Oh,
he's
wait
really
a minute, Luke. Did you just say sex?
with
Couplets.
uplets. Yeah.
We're not. That's not this type of channel.
Yeah.
Fred.
That you got to subscribe to our
Or
OnlyFans.
Yeah, we're gonna get some OnlyFans going here.
Yeah. So
okay, here we
anyway,
go.
check out Gojira. Let us know what you think of Mario.
Luke, hit us with the
Incredible.
number 1 spot. Best drummer of all time.
Best drummer of all time. Here we
I gotta
go.
work on my drum roll.
Oh, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, this might be the Purple Monster kit. Dance of Eternity by Dream Theater. It's just a sea
yeah.
of drums.
Yeah.
360-degree drum kit.
Yes, 360 degrees.
Do they build it around him? Like he sits down, there's no going to the bathroom.
I think they bring him in on a
Crap.
crane. They set him down on a crane.
Yeah.
It's got to be that.
I mean, this is just nuts what he's doing. To be able to hold
How
time.
do you not get confused? Like, wait a minute, I thought I had my little tiny symbol over there, not over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's the Falling to Infinity kit he's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he's changing tempo, time signatures. I mean, just like constant movement here.
Every bar.
Constant
much.
motion. Constant motion.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
Dream Theater album.
And so he's got 100 drums and he uses them all in just, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can learn to play that song on drums, and you'd have to be a hell of a good drummer to do it. But to write it, to start from scratch and be like, I know what to do here. And you come up with that is just next level insanity in terms of profession.
In a band is you're feeding off, the other members a lot too, which
Sure.
brings out different things in you. You wouldn't necessarily play the same thing or the same way, but you're vibing off someone else's input. John Petrucci, he's sitting there, he's riffing it up. Oh shit. I got to come up with something that complements that. That's part of, the cool thing about being in a band is that you get a lot of different creative inputs,
It's true. It's so true. Okay. Well, we're at a time.
Well, but I mean,
dang it.
I think
so let us know, who your
address
favorite is.
the elephant in the room here, though. But you can't say Mike Portnoy and then
Oh, that's right.
pretend that there's no now Mike Mangini, right?
Yeah.
So
That is true.
think about it. If you guys are following along with us, send us your thoughts. Maybe comment on some of our Instagram stuff when we put the episode up. But Mangini, I was just, Dream Theater made that documentary trying to find their next drummer,
Which was so much fun to watch.
was awesome. I forgot what it's called, but if you look at Theater finding their next drummer, you'll find it. But I was blown away that anybody could even play what Portnoy was doing. And I think that the new albums sound good too. It's different,
Yes,
for sure. But what would you think about it?
Absolutely. Let us know, because it's true. Mangini, if you listen to Bridges in the Sky, some of the stuff he's doing on there is just ridiculously good. But again, it's different. So I think
like
Shred,
that song,
you actually
Pale Blue Dot. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think Shred, you said it best in your notes. You said Mike, they're both Mikes, 11 out of 10. Easy. But Mangini is maybe a little more technical, but a little less musical. And Portnoy's a little less technical, but a little more musical. And I think that really does describe, at least my opinion of the taste I have.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about the songs. Can you make a song that people want to listen to? Your
Right.
technical facility is only in service to that. So that always has to be first and foremost. Otherwise, you're just not going to have a career if you don't try to sound good.
It's true.
Song.
But the more mastery you have, the more objectively, technically proficient you are, the more you can, bring a musical idea to life, right? I mean, there's stuff that I hum in my head and I'm like, that's a cool ass rhythm or a cool ass melody. I got to play it and I can't play it because I'm not technically proficient enough. So
that's right.
You want to be a 10 out of 10, an 11 out of 10 in terms of proficiency. But then you do. I mean, songwriting is just a totally different skill.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is our best metal list. It was hard fought to get some of those on there. And there are many more. So check out our Spotify. Feel free to comment on this video.
Dude, we got to get the Spotify going. Yeah.
I put up a best drummer one right before the show, but I can't find it on there. It looks like it deleted it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Great Metal Podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, email us, and leave some comments on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, which would be awesome.
Make sure to turn on your notifications, because if you want to catch when we're going live, that'll give you a ding and say, hey, Great Metal Podcast went live.
That's right.
Ding,
Even though we
ding,
do it at the
ding.
same time every week.
Hey, don't give it away. Don't give it away, man. You might need the reminder.
You might. You get busy, So, well, it's awesome talking about this stuff. Good to see you guys. And remember
Happy
that the
V
world.
Day.
Oh, yes, of course. V-Day. Okay. Remember that the world ends with you. Oh my gosh. The world ends with Shred doing inappropriate hand gestures. All right, man. The world ends with you, so make it metal.